Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and welcome back to another episode of Running with James. Today, we're going to give you our full review of the NovaBlast 3 from ASICS. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment to like and subscribe. I don't know if you know this, guys, but about 90% of our viewers don't subscribe to the channel. So please take a moment. It's a little bitty thing for you, but for us, it's a huge win. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and only you can make that happen. As usual, we'll start with the upper. We'll work our way down to the midsole, and then we'll talk about that outsole. And by the end of this video, you'll know our full thoughts, but more importantly, is this something you can live without, or maybe something you should just sleep on? All right, so let's jump into this upper. The upper is a jacquard mesh upper. Now, this upper I found to be extremely comfortable. I don't know, I really don't wear a ton of ASICS, but the ASICS I have worn, they're very comfortable. Always made of the highest quality materials. Don't think I've ever had a complaint with one of the ASICS uppers that I've had. Now, this upper has an attached tongue. It's very thin, so it doesn't have a lot of cushion, or comfort really is probably not the word I would give for the tongue itself, but it is very flexible and super thin and lays pretty flat because it is an attached tongue, right? Has a traditional lacing system that offers plenty of lockdown. Now I will say that it was ample. That's probably the word I would say, is it gives you ample width. So if you have a little wider foot, you're probably gonna fit in this thing pretty well. If you're really narrow, you're gonna have to cinch this thing down pretty good, because I don't know if you can tell or not in some of the videos, some of the images, but right across the top of that foot, you can kind of see where I've had to cinch it down pretty good to make sure I get a good lockdown fit. The toe box was pretty ample, so the way I like it, plenty of room for the toes, didn't feel squished whatsoever, including the volume of the shoe, so there was no real hot spots or anything like that. Has a pretty substantial heel collar, so it's pretty thick. You can see like you're not bending this thing down whatsoever. And then it has some additional overlays on the back of that heel counter to offer additional support. So the heel slips in really nicely, no slippage whatsoever, and it has a very comfortable collar that allows no rubbing or anything like that. So I would say that this is, for anything, I would say this upper, if there's a word I would apply to this upper, it would have to be plush. I would say this is a very plush, comfortable upper, but because of the plushness of that jacquard knit, I do feel like it's maybe a little bit warmer than some of the other daily trainers that are out there. So on hot days, it's a little warmer. I wouldn't say it's hot, but it's definitely not like the thinnest and coolest, most breathable upper out there, in my opinion. But overall, I think it's very good, it's very comfortable, and you're probably gonna get a ton of wear out of this upper. All right, now let's talk about that midsole. Now the midsole for this shoe is a little bit different maybe than some of the other foams that are out there. Now, when I say that, it's definitely not a traditional EVA material. This is their Flight Foam Blast Plus, and I believe the Plus just basically means that it's an upgrade from last year's, and it's a little bit bouncier, it's supposed to be a little bit lighter. It also has this little, they're calling it like this trampoline pod that's right here in the center of the outsole, and it is a unique experience, right? And what I mean by that is it's bouncy, right? It's definitely cushiony, and probably cushion more than bounce is the way I would describe this midsole. So it's really good. I really enjoy it on like my easy days. Definitely like it for the long runs. With a 31mm stack height in the heel and a 23mm stack height in the forefoot, that gives us an 8mm drop. I like that drop. It feels comfortable. I'm usually a fan of anything from like 6 to 8, so it's right in that sweet spot for me. So I really dig it, like I was saying, for the longer runs. I dig it for easy runs. It does have enough bounce to pick up the pace a little bit, and I do find myself actually running probably a little bit faster than I would normally run on easy days when I put this shoe on, because it does have some good rebound, but it's definitely not like a tempo day shoe. It's not a speed day shoe. I would not choose this shoe to go fast in, right? So you definitely have the ability to pick up the pace, but it would not be my first preference for it. So if you're looking for something, and that's what a daily trainer is for, right? A daily trainer usually is something you can do multiple runs in. You can do the long run. You can do the easy recovery stuff. You can pick up the pace if you want to. I would not race in the shoe for sure, but the Flight Foam was for something that's not like a quote unquote like super shoe foam, right? It doesn't have a plate or anything like that in it. I definitely found that it was a comfortable shoe. So This is a foam too. I feel like I've put quite a few miles on this shoe. I think I'm right about 100 miles or so, and the shoe looks great. It's a good looking shoe still. It's worn really well. But I feel like the foam itself is something that you're going to get a lot of wear out. So it's not one of those foams. It's not a brick like EVA, but like the Zoom X or the Hyperburst, or even like the Fuel Cell from New Balance. It's not as squishy and as bouncy as those shoes. So I feel like that just means that you're going to get more wear out of it. So the shoe's not going to bottom out as quickly as some of those other foams. So I definitely find myself when I'm looking to go run, I find myself pulling the shoe out more and more and more. So the more I wear it, I feel like the more comfortable it is. All right, now let's jump into the outsole. Now the outsole is ASICS AHAR rubber compound outsole. Strategically placed, right? So you have quite a bit of the foam actually exposed. So it's got good coverage on the out, and then a little bit of strategic right in the middle. And supposedly this is supposed to really help with the durability of the shoe. Now, I will tell you this, it's not super grippy in my opinion, right? Now, it works great on concrete, works great on asphalt, you know, whatever. When I would say it's not super grippy, I just mean like when it's wet outside, on wood, it wasn't like the best for me personally. I felt a little uneasy. I didn't feel like I was gonna fall or what have you, but like if I was picking up the pace and trying to take a corner in this and it was wet outside, I wouldn't feel super secure, okay? So what it's, going straight in a straight line, no problem. Dry concrete, whatever, not an issue. And there is enough of this rubber underneath here. So there's a pretty substantial layer on the strategic places where I feel like you are gonna get a lot of good wear out of it. So like I said, I have over 100 miles in the shoe and I don't really see a ton of wear on the particulars, on the edges or even on the front, right? So if you're looking at the shoe itself, right? So you can see, pretty clearly where I have wear on the shoe. You can see kind of on the edges here, but looking at it like with the detail of the shoe, it's worn really, 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 really well, right? So I would tell you that for me, the outsole does its job. It's not the best outsole as far as sticky rubber compound, but it definitely will get the job done. So what is our verdict for the NovaBlast 3 from ASICS? Well, for us, we love the upper. The upper was very plush and comfortable. Not super cool, but it's not, here in Houston, it's super humid and hot. We're used to it. It's not that big a deal. It drains well as far as breathability, so I think you're not gonna be sitting around in your own sweat. The midsole is comfortable. The instep, the first step feel is great. It feels comfortable. That trampoline effect is a little bit different and weird to get used to, but I think that's where the bounce comes from, a lot of the return. So I found it to be comfortable, great for short runs, great for easy recovery days, great for long runs. You can go fast in it, but definitely not my first choice. The outsole, it works, maybe not at higher speeds when you're taking corners if it's wet, but it works, and you're definitely gonna get a lot of wear out of the shoe. For $140 retail price, I got mine for right at $119, I think, $120 or so, so I got mine at a discounted price on sale, but $140 is not bad. So I think this shoe, for me, I think my 10.5 came right at about 9.2 ounces. For men's size 9, comes right at about 8.9 ounces. So here's where this shoe falls in. It's not too anything. It's not too light. It's not too heavy. It's not too hot. It's not too cool. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's like that right in the middle of the road shoe. And when you think about a daily trainer, that's probably exactly what you want out of a daily trainer. Something that you can do a little bit of everything in, that's not gonna cost you a ton of money, and you're gonna get a lot of miles out of the shoe. It's high quality, it's gonna do the job. So if you're looking for a do-it-all shoe, I think the NovaBlast 3 is definitely one of those things. And so I'm gonna say that the NovaBlast 3 from ASICS is a must-have. All right, my friends, that is it for our review of the NovaBlast 3. Let us know, what's your favorite daily trainer right now? What's your go-to daily trainer? What are you doing the most of your runs in right now at the end of this 2022? There's a ton of great shoes that are about to drop. It's the end of the year, so I'm not sure if it's because of the COVID stuff and, shipments being delayed, but I'm seeing tons of shoes. That TRE just went down, and they have so many amazing shoes. So I'm seeing a lot of shoes on sale right now. So it's a great time to be a runner and love wearing new and cool shoes. Our video for the runnies is about to come, so our favorite shoes of the year is about to come out. And then don't forget, also, I mentioned it last week, you may have seen some teasers on the social medias, but the Grinch is on his way with his new music video, and it is going to be so much fun. If you haven't done so already, check out our podcast. We have a new episode every other Wednesday. A lot of fun, a lot of great times. We've got one more for the end before the year ends, before the first season ends, so you still got time to check it out and get on it. So guys, thank you for coming in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, do all that great stuff. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great New Year. We love you guys. Remember, when you change your mind, you can change your life.